A few minutes before I start talking, I'll give you a chance to come on. I'm going to be talking about anxiety and after benzo withdrawal syndrome and still tapering Remeron. So I haven't tapered in about a year and a half. I've been off benzos for 6.5 years. I was a very short term user on benzos, but it destroyed me. Um, but you could always go back to, older videos and see what that's about if you'd like. So, but I haven't tapered the Remeron in about a year and a half. So I'm getting some pretty big PTSD about starting to taper that again. And I will get back to that, but I'm pretty terrified of it. And just in general, my symptoms have been pretty brutal when it comes to anxiety lately. It's just ramping up all my other symptoms, and I don't think there's a major trigger for it. I think it's I mean I guess there's always triggers for it, but it'll come on just chemically and make me just feel completely out of my mind. So it's very discouraging because I'm trying to feel better and calm down so I can get to a point where I can continue. It's normal, but how you doing, everybody? Say hello in the comments if you'd like. I see 7 people came on within 2 minutes, which is pretty awesome. So say hello if you'd like. I will answer questions as they come if I can. Um, I try to use my coping techniques and stuff like that. With meditation and trying to live in the moment day by day and stuff like that. And that's just not cutting it. Hey there, Mr. Jeff. Um, it's just not cutting it. I mean, the one thing that got a lot worse after COVID for me was anxiety. Hi, Patricia. How are you? So it's hard for me to grasp what my day is like when I'm just sitting here so anxious. Like I get exhausted, like I can't breathe because the anxiety gets so bad. My last wave that I was having, that I was talking about recently, has calmed down to a good level. Not exactly to my baseline, but I'll have a day once in a while where I'm back to my baseline, and sometimes maybe even a little better. But it all depends. But in general, I'm a little worse off than what my baseline was a while ago before COVID. So I'm still trying. Hello. So I'm just trying to get back to my life and what I'm doing, but anxiety holds me back a lot. I know a lot of people can relate to it, but as time has gone by, my anxiety has actually gotten worse. I can't say my symptoms got worse. I mean, they do sometimes. But in general, like right now, if I had to say, my symptoms aren't exactly worse than they were, but they feel like it with the anxiety because they get ramped up. Um, Anxiety always ramps up my symptoms, not sure why. So I just think it's just a terror assault on my nervous system. So I take it minute by minute with that. Um, I try to distract as much as possible. Heating pad on my stomach works to a point to distract from the feeling because my anxiety, and I'm going to try to explain this because when I say my anxiety is stemmed in my stomach and shoots out energy, I need to explain that it's not a it's not a problem that I have with my stomach, like diarrhea and all that. I've got my stomach issues, but it's separate from what I feel, the anxiety, because I just literally feel anxiety in my stomach and it shoots out through my whole body. So it's like it just mainly stems from there. So it's not like a major gut issue. It's just there. But I know a lot of the receptors and there's a lot of angst. There's a lot of I know there's a lot of serotonin. I don't even think this is a serotonin thing, but a lot of serotonin receptors in your stomach as well. But I mean, everything is related to the gut, so I mean, it makes sense. But I get chemically assaulted like with anxiety, and it'll come. It's usually always there, but it'll get worse as at sometimes it'll just get really bad, and then my head starts to just ruminate, and of course all my symptoms start getting crazy, and I'll think to myself, do I have something happening right now that's causing this, other than me thinking that I have to taper eventually the Remeron? But I'm not seeing that as something that would cause so much anxiety. And for some reason, it's been evening, like early evening. It'll just start getting worse and worse. And then it's just like, it just ruins everything. You know, I feel exhausted. I feel like I'm just going to, explode, which is totally ridiculous. So let's see, we've been on for about 6.5 minutes and we got 8 people coming on. At one point we had 10, so that's really great. For a Monday night, that's pretty damn good. It's nice to see people pop on. I'm always never happy that people have to deal with this kind of stuff, but it's good to see people on. You can always ask questions if you have to. You can tell me your coping techniques for anxiety. That, I'd like to talk about that. Distraction's really key for everything. Hello, James. Distraction for me is key, but it's like distraction is also very exhausting. So how do you can't continually do it. Hey, Jeff, new car smell got me over 200 chemicals. Oh, geez. You know what? You get something good for yourself, and it's funny. The new car smell, I like it, but yeah, it's just chemical. That's the problem. So make sure to keep your windows down a little bit, air that fucker out, So yeah, probably put you in a wave. I'm very sensitive to smells and chemicals. I'm not as sensitive as I used to be, where like if I smell something, like I instantaneously just fall in a wave. So it's not like that for me anymore, as sensitive as I am. But I won't put myself in a situation if I don't have to. If it's a smell once in a while, it doesn't bother me. If it's something that's constant, it'll eventually catch up to me. So all depends, But I'm not as sensitive as I was with that, which is great. I won't go into a mall and step in a candle store, that's for sure. Not if I don't have to, which I wouldn't see a reason why I'd have to ever. But, yeah. So this anxiety has been kind of going by since the end of October. I had COVID and my anxiety was okay. Then after that, it got a little worse. I got the flu, and then it got a little worse, and then it calms down. Then it gets a little worse, and it calms down. The other week it was calmed down, and then it got worse again, and then it got worse. And it's just usually this kind of anxiety throughout my whole benzo withdrawal syndrome stuff was usually about 2 weeks, and then it would fade away, calm down, and usually triggered by something, and then my body wouldn't let go of it for a little bit. So it'd be a few weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then it would calm down, and I wouldn't catch that feeling strong for a while, 6 months maybe. And I would get it on occasion. But it was usually triggered by something. I imagine I'm triggered by something, but I'm not gauging what to keep it running. But I just know I'm more sensitive after COVID and the flu. So now it's like I have to hope I just don't get COVID again. And that's going to be impossible. So I have to just deal with this fucking new anxiety, So that's pretty ridiculous. Oh, Chad. Chad says, and I am going to reply to this big time. Have you tried a TENS unit on your stomach as a distraction? Yes, I have. And honestly, I brought it out today. You're like a psychic, Chad. I brought it out today to use later tonight as a distraction. It doesn't help, but it distracts the feeling of anxiety in my stomach. But it's like I don't put it on too high because I don't want to disrupt anything, from being so sensitive. So excellent suggestion, and I want to tell people about that. So good ones, Chad. A TENS unit is a very good distraction for anxiety. Nobody's ever mentioned that before, and it's one of the few things that I think people would be severely surprised that helps. And it's not foolproof by any means, but it helps. I don't do it too often because sometimes I wonder if like me being so sensitive and using a TENS unit will like just disturb my nervous system, but I don't put it on too high. I used to because I like the feeling of it. It just feels like I'm electrocuting my fucking stomach. I love it, but I can't do it that harsh. But I love the thing. I used to use it all the time before benzo withdrawal stuff, and it's great on my back and everything like that. Um, but yeah, great suggestion. Cindy, hi Cindy. Cindy asks, "Oops, I almost deleted it. How is your memory after benzo COVID? Up and down. It's way worse than it ever has been, but not as bad as you would expect. For a little while, it was really bad, but I think I'm about 5.5 months past COVID. I don't know what that is. It was at the end of October, so we'll just say November, December, January, February, March, and we're going to April. So for like 5 months and something. Memory for the first so many months was fucking shot. It scared me, but I made sure to do like some memory games and stuff on my phone and stuff like that, just to keep my brain working. I don't know if it helped, but I can't imagine it hurt. Of course, then in this situation, it could have hurt from me overdoing it. So I don't know. But yeah, like right now, I would say it's mostly back to normal. I mean, normal is what it is. I don't really know. My normal is pretty bad. My memory is pretty bad. I don't remember. It kind of goes both ways. Like my recent memory of like through my day is pretty good, but it's hard to remember. Like I can remember important stuff I did, but everything kind of meshes into each other now. Um, but like memories from during the benzo acute stuff and like after that is really hard to remember. Before all that, I remember important dates and stuff, but I don't have much of a memory for a lot of things anymore. I remember like things that I enjoyed a lot. I remember my pets, um, and good times like with pets. And, I have still my really bad memories and trauma as a kid and stuff. But like just every day, I know that's mostly what you're asking, but every day can be a challenge. I have to rethink and rethink and rethink. Normal is a setting on a washing machine. Yeah. Yeah. What is normal really? But as a person that hasn't been through damage from medications, um, I would say they're pretty damn lucky, but it's not bad. It could be worse. I at least remember that I have to, go out for work tomorrow. Like, I don't like question it like when I wake up and stuff like that. Like, oh, fuck, am I supposed to do this? Did I just eat and stuff like that? I'm pretty good at remembering that stuff now, which was a little hazy for a while. I'd actually like wonder if I ate because like I've been trying to eat a lot more lately because I've lost so much weight. Oh, and I've got such a fucking headache today. I think I'm coming down with something. My ear hurts and my fucking part of my throat hurts. But talking doesn't bother it just yet. So I figured I'd do a video today because I might not be able to soon. But yeah, maybe coming down with something new. Fuck, just what I need. But whatever. I guess I'll see how it goes. But my headache. One thing I've gotten after COVID that I can really do without is I get migraines now. Migraines. I had one migraine my whole life, and after I got COVID, well, it was during benzo withdrawal syndrome stuff. Is I had a migraine because somebody stressed me out so bad that I got a migraine that lasted almost 24 hours. It was hell. Worst headache I've ever had in my life. So now at least I knew what a migraine was. And after COVID, now I get migraines. They're not as bad as the one I had, but they get pretty brutal and they last for days. So today, like, I just have a headache. But if I know, it'll turn into a migraine if, possibly. So I could really do without that. But that's more of a normal person problem. So at least it's not totally scary, you know. Nothing compared to medication injuries, at least for me. That is a fact. I couldn't agree with that. Chad says this, and I can't bear to even think about doing it. I find when having bad anxiety, another way I get out of it is a super cold shower. I get well, okay, two things with that. It's probably a really good suggestion because, I mean, distraction wise, it's fucking top of the fucking charts. Um, I get nervous because my nervous system is so fragile. Like, would a cold shower just throw me into a huge wave? I don't know. I've never tried it. The uncomfort factor, oh my God. I can't imagine how uncomfortable it would be to take a cold shower. I just can't. I just can't imagine it. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'll try it. I just don't know. But it's a great suggestion. I really do think it is a good one. Cindy, how's your visual snow? Any better? Well, it's one of those things. I don't think it'll ever get better, but it does go up and down a little bit. It's been a little bit better lately, but it's so bad in general that it's just a fucking nightmare no matter where it goes. It's just gotten so bad. And every time I have an ocular migraine or a migraine with aura, it tends to get worse for a couple months. And now that I've been getting them a little more recently, I haven't had a chance for it to like calm down at all. So it just sucks. But I mean, it's tormenting. My life would be so much better, like dealing with all this, if my vision and I can't even say it, neurological vision was better. But it's such a mess. But I could say, like, I could literally, there's certain things I can look at and I know, like, as visual snow comes with a lot of weird visual symptoms. I could say some of those symptoms have calmed down. The snow itself really never calms down, but the weird visual bullshit that comes with it is probably a little better. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But and that causes me anxiety. It's like it just does because all my surroundings are so bizarre. And then with anxiety, that automatically makes my DPDR stuff worse, and the detachment and all that, it makes it worse. So it's all a cycle that I work through every single day. Luckily, I have amazing support now. Amazing support. I mean, honestly, I don't know what I would do without her. She's amazing and does everything she can to understand what I deal with. And even though it's impossible to understand, it's nice to have a person on your side. So, one of my main suggestions always is try to find support anywhere and anyhow you can. It's not like you can just go find it, but if somebody's willing to support you and try to understand what you're dealing with, give them a chance. Yes, nobody can fully understand what we go through, but that's okay. We don't want them to fully understand. That's for sure. I would never want my loved ones to understand what I go through. I just want them to hear me and do their best to understand. That's all you can do. Well, we got 3 people on now, and I've lost 8 people in the process. I wish I had better things to say to you. I do not. Just a bunch of whining and crying. Just kidding. But yeah, I don't have a lot other than my anxiety's been so bad. It's just been bad. And I'm doing my best, and I'm trying to get to a point where I'm going to taper again, and I'll have to do it no matter what. It's basically rip the Band-Aid off and suffer it. And that's it. That's all I can do. And I will cry and cry and cry, and I will come on here and just bitch and moan how terrible it is, and I'll get through that after 3 months or whatever it'll take, and then bitch and moan that I'm going to have to taper again. And I'm going to have to do this about 6 or 7 times. And then once I'm free of that medication, I know I'll be better. I won't ever be 100%. But give me like a year after I'm off the medication, I would say I'll probably have 75% of my life back. I'll still always have the things that plague me, because I had things that plagued me before this. I'll always have anxiety to a point, but not like this. I'll always have visual snow. That's not going away. Um, I'll always have pain. I'll always have some issues with my skin and stuff like that and whatever. But at least it'll be better than this. And fuck, I'll do anything to get to a point where I'm not on these medications anymore. I just need to get through this and not die or have my heart go out or get forced on some other medication. I don't mind if I need to take something once in a while to get through this, but usually that's hard on me too. But I just need to not go out of my mind and feel like I need to get on some medication again that I know is just going to prolong everything and put me through another taper. Just don't need to do it. But like the anxiety gets so intense, it's like I wonder how I'm going to deal with it. That's the thing. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. Oh, I was saying earlier about losing weight. That's one thing that's happened pretty bad in the last year, just from stress in general. I had a lot of life changes, and I don't know if that's true. I just figure my metabolism changed from the stress and stuff, and I'm eating more now than I ate for a while, and I am just losing weight. I think I lost a good 40 pounds. Nah, probably not that much. Without giving exact numbers, I probably lost 25 pounds in the last year, maybe 30. Right now, I'm almost plateauing because I'm eating as much as I can, but I'm not gaining any weight. I want to gain at least a good 20 pounds, but I don't know how. And honestly, the things that do make you gain weight are things that set off my nervous system. So it's a rock and a hard place situation with that. So anyway, I'm going to be heading off here in moments. If you got any other questions or suggestions or anything, definitely say it. I'll give it a couple more minutes on here, but I appreciate everybody's support, and I'm here to support you all as much as I can. If it wasn't for these communities and stuff like that, it would be really hard, because this is very fucking lonely. I don't care who you have in your life. It's just really lonely feeling. It doesn't matter how much support you have. It does feel lonely, because we're dealing with something that doctors don't care about. They don't give a shit most of the time, and they don't have answers for you. And you're basically just doing tapers that doctors don't even approve of because it's too slow and shit like that. What do you do, If I went by what my doctor said, they would have ripped me off the meds and I would have ended up in the hospital on more drugs. It doesn't fucking matter. I'd rather suffer and be able to live my life a little bit than just completely suffer and kill myself. It's a fucking choice. Nobody wants to suffer, but nobody wants to die. Yeah, you know, I actually really enjoy life, but I just want to enjoy it now, and I can't. So I need to get to a point where my goal is, yeah, I will not be health wise good for another probably 5 years. That's probably true. But after that, because time goes by quick, after that, I need to be healing, and I want my years later down the road, because say I live another 25 years, I want those years to be reasonable. I want to be able to go on vacation. I want to enjoy the time with my loved ones. And that's it. And I don't want to come on here anymore. I don't. I don't want to talk about how bad it is. I want to come on here every once in a while and say, hey, life gets better. Yes, it takes a long time sometimes, but it does. And I already know it will as long as I survive it. Jeff, that question hits really close to home. It almost like freaks me out you even asked. Do you get tremors and shaking? Yeah, absolutely. It's the other morning it was really bad. I've been way worse, but it was really bad. I literally feel like I'm getting shocked with pain electric, but I'll get tremors and different parts of my body will just shake and it hurts. I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but like mine is very painful. And it'll usually cool off in a few hours. Sometimes it lasts half a day. Sometimes I don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes it's so scary, it's like I got Parkinson's disease. Not long ago, I had a day where I just assumed that maybe I should get checked for Parkinson's. And I mean, I'm not, but it freaked me out because I'm thinking if this is just the beginning and it's going to get worse and I'm going to be like that all the time, that's no way to live. You know, I feel for people with that shit. So I couldn't function with it. It hurts. You know, I literally, and I'm just making this up because this is not the way I feel right now. But like, my arm will be there, and all of a sudden I'll just be like, ah, and I'll just be like that, you know. And I'm like, sometimes it's like it'll move like that real quick. My muscle will just move, but a lot of times it's just tremors like that, you know. So, but some things have gotten worse. Like those tremor things have gotten worse for me. I don't know why, but they have. My anxiety's gotten worse. But there's a ton of other things that have gotten better. I could really do with the anxiety not getting worse because that pretty much takes me out, you know. So that scares me. So I have to learn not to be afraid of being afraid and all that shit. So whatever. I'll do my best. But yeah, Jeff, that really hit home. So I get it. And it gets really bad sometimes. I mean, to a point where it's unfunctional. But I think it's just because I'm on medication I shouldn't be on, you know, and I can't get off of it because my nervous system's so fragile. So it's going to be a very slow process. And when I do decide to taper, which will be probably within a month, can't guarantee it though. But that's what I'm hoping. Um, it's going to be hard. I'll probably be on here a lot. And I hope I can get some support then. But yeah. Thanks for the note. Yeah, I think about everybody who comes on here and suffers, you know, and I appreciate people who think of me. You know, it's just it's just a support group, you know, kind of. You know, it's like people need to know they're not completely alone with people who go through the same things and stuff like that. You know, I'm living my life right now, and that once in a while I'm able to go out and do things that I haven't done years ago. And that's how I know I'm doing better. But sometimes it's really hard to do it. Sometimes it's harder than other times. And then it brings me back to like, oh, You know, it's getting harder again and all that. It's just always so up and down. My ups are not very up, but they're up enough for me to do stuff once in a while. But my downs are incredible sometimes. And my downs are going to be very probably incredible when I taper again. And I think my anxiety is going to just get out of control. Don't really know what I'm going to do though, but I'm going to try. I'm going to die trying. That's the fucking thing. I'm going to die trying. Hopefully, I'll survive all of it. You know, I'm not going to do anything to me, but hopefully, my body will keep keep drudging along. I know I lose a lot of weight, and I just recently got blood work, which came out really good. So my body's like healthy in that manner. So we'll see. I've got some other, things that are close to the edge with blood work, but nothing too major. So I just keep my eye on it as I always have, as we always should. But anyway, I'm off, and you all take care. And I'll try to be on here soon. I'll try to update you when I do decide to taper and stuff like that, as I always have, because I want people to know what's going on. Not just because of me, and you need to know what's happening with me, but I can give you kind of an idea of what it's like to be severely sensitive in this and do this years and years later, and how rough it can be, and sometimes how it's not as bad as I would think and stuff like that. Sometimes it's not as bad as you'd think. Like the whole COVID thing, that was way worse than I expected. But people kind of thought that. But it was different, though. It was different than I expected. So, anyway, take care and take care of each other. And